Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Ms. Hogshead. Thank you for your presentation. Just two quick questions. Does NCOR have any feedback or information about satisfaction from landlords through this process who have not been paid? Something that you can share in data or any kind of feedback from the agency on satisfaction from the landlord side?
Besides the survey that I talked about with the 90% that would recommend the HOPE program, you're talking about landlords that we have not paid?
That have not been paid, right?
What we have access to are the landlords whose information we have. So those are the 21,000 landlords that we surveyed. I do not have other information about landlords that have not participated in the HOPE program.
Follow-up or separate question?
Yeah, yes.
And I hope someone will ask this when I have to leave about going through the fraud detection process and the details of that. But can you put in numbers the fraud, the money lost in fraud that you've detected or investigated, and then how much of that has been recovered? Maybe you can break it down between 1.0 and then so far in 2.0. Or thank you.
Sure. So we're seeing a different fraud element in 2.0 than in 1.0. 1.0 went quick. It went so fast that people didn't have time to figure out how to defraud it.
Can I ask you to speak into the mic?
Yes, sorry. So HOPE 1.0 went so fast. The applications were closed within 3 weeks. People did not have time to figure out how to play games. So we did not see a significant fraud element in HOPE 1.0. It was also a smaller amount of money. When you get to $800 million, that catches the eye of a different kind of person. And so we are seeing some of the same fraud tactics that you would see in Medicare or PPP. And so we are stopping those. We have a very sophisticated quality control that is built into both our Salesforce system and is trained weekly on our 250 case managers, where we've got computers looking for fraud and humans looking for fraud. And by and large, we stop those on the front end before they ever get to payment. If something does go to payment that we discover is fraudulent, we turn that over to our investigators, our contracted investigators. They investigate, they come back to us and tell us whether it is substantiated or not substantiated. And if it is substantiated, we send it to the SBI. So we turn it over immediately to appropriate law enforcement. That is not something that we know how to do, and we want to make sure that those cases are adjudicated properly. So we have not at this point had any return to us from SBI. We have sent over 8 cases to the SBI in the first batch, and we have sent over a second batch recently to SBI, but none of them have come back to us as recovered, or they're all still in the investigation process with SBI.
Follow-up? So only 8 cases of fraud have been detected?
8 individual cases were sent to the SBI. Recently, we sent over another package to the SBI. I don't have off the top of my head how many cases were in that package, but we do send over packages to the SBI as they are substantiated by our independent fraud investigator.
So 8 cases, how many out of how many total cases?
I could not say at this moment how many we are pending investigation, but I can get back to you with that.
And that you've hired a fraud investigator?
We have.
So it's 8 cases. So, but what about in terms of the dollar amount, in terms of money that's been? Do we have any information on that?
So
at
those
all?
8 cases represent $51,000, and that was the first batch that went over. So those were the first cases that went over. They are still investigating those cases, and we do not have a determination on those yet.
Okay. So
if they don't prosecute, we will recapture. If they decline to prosecute.
Follow up. So $51,000 out of a total program of how much money?
So far, we have awarded $460 million.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll refer back to Chairman Edwards.